Okay, welcome to the conclusion of 8.22. If we pick up where we left off in the last video, you'll see we have our table mostly done. We just need to get our equation, and that's what our focus is going to be for this video. So, in the previous video, we talked about how these conjugates will end up giving us real numbers. They create a difference of squares, which can be really easy to multiply and can be helpful. So what I want to do today is talk a little bit about how we can take a pair of numbers, complex numbers. Now remember, complex numbers don't have to have, a real component and an imaginary component. The real component can be 0, the imaginary component can be 0, but it still fits in that complex number system. So when you see something like part A here, this is considered a complex number, even though it's only consisting of real numbers. Okay, and then same thing here. It's a complex number, even though it only consists of imaginary numbers. So when we talk about complex numbers, we're talking about that entire number system. So we're going to try to write an equation that has the two roots that are given. All right, so let's kind of work through one of these together here and talk about a strategy, and then I'll have you try a couple on your own. So we're going to look at the fact that 3/4 and -5 end up being the roots for our quadratic. Okay, so what happened, and think about as we work backwards here, if we work this process backwards, all right, what we did is we started out with some quadratic. We factored it, and then we set each factor equal to 0, and then solved for each of those two factors. So what we ended up with is that x was 3/4 and that x was -5. That's what we end up with. Now, to get to the factors, see, these are our roots. What we need are the factors, because the factors will allow us to write a quadratic expression. So the roots would lead us to the factors if we work backwards. So to get from the factors to the roots, we isolated x. So to go from the roots to the factors, we're going to get everything on one side. In other words, so over here, I've got x equals -5. Well, I can add 5 to both sides here, right? And that'll get everything on one side. And then what you'll start to notice is that, oh, yeah, so this x plus 5, that's my factor. Okay, now we can do the same thing over here, but I'm going to do this in a couple of steps, and it'll make sense why I do this later. But I'm going to start, I'm not going to subtract 3/4 from both sides. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 4 first. So if I multiply both sides by 4, I'm going to get 4 times x equals 3. Then I'm going to subtract my 3 from both sides. And what I get is 4x minus 3 equals 0. That 4x minus 3, there's my factor. Now what I know is that I've got two factors. Okay, I know it's a quadratic, so that's good. I've got two factors. Now I'm going to use those two factors to write my quadratic, to write my equation. And what that looks like is we'll have an equation that starts out with y equals 4x minus 3 times x plus 5. Now that's great. Okay, that's a good equation, but it's in factored form. I would like to write this in standard form. So standard form means let's multiply it all out, right? So first would be, we'd have 4x squared, and you should be able to do this part, plus 20x. Just kind of showing you the process here because it might be helpful in the problems you're going to do here in a few minutes. So then we have y equals 4x squared plus 17x minus 15. Okay, so I'd like you to try the other three, see what you can come up with, come back and check your work, and then we'll talk about some of the patterns maybe that we're seeing. Okay, so here are the 4 equations. Again, if you need to pause the video to look at these a little more closely, please do so. But the idea here is what we're really looking for are some patterns. So given I'll talk a little bit about how we got what we got, especially on C and D, because those can be a little tricky. But the idea is I want you to look for patterns. So on C and D, you end up with these factors that are 3 terms. So I find it easiest to multiply those out using a box. It just keeps me organized. It isn't necessary. You could use the same kind of approach we do here, where you just have to distribute each term in the first set of parentheses to each term in the second set. But when you do it this way, I kind of color-coded things so you can see how that all ended up. We get x squared. We have negative 5x and negative 5x, which will give us the negative 10x. You're going to see positive 2ix, negative 2ix. Those are 0. Negative 10i, positive 10i, also 0. And then this box, it ends up being, it starts out as negative 4i squared, but when you replace I squared with negative 1, you just get positive 4. So we get 29 for our constant term. And then same kind of idea here. You have our 3 term factors, which I can multiply out using a box. Again, color coding, I've got 3x and 3x gives me 6x. Negative x radical 2 plus x radical 2 will be 0. Negative 3 radical 2 plus 3 radical 2 will be 0. And then this guy is just radical 2 times negative radical 2, which is negative 2. When you add those together, you get 7. All right, so we can find a quadratic that has real components for any of these types of equations. Now the real thing I want you to look at, and I'll have you pause the video for a few minutes to see, or a minute, see if you can find this, is the pattern between the roots and the quadratic. So looking at the roots and the quadratic, roots and quadratic, roots and quadratic. Can you find a pattern that would make it easier to start with the roots and get the quadratic so you wouldn't have to do all of this mess? All right, take a minute, pause the video, see if you can figure it out, and come back and we'll talk about it. So maybe you're not sure what to do. You unpause the video and there's no clue yet. Here's what I would suggest. Try finding the sum and product of your roots and see if that helps. Okay, aside from the first one, because that's a little tricky, do you see a pattern? So maybe it would help if, we rewrite this second one as y equals x squared plus 0x plus 9. Maybe that helps. So now looking at your sum and your products and the equations, hopefully what you're seeing is this. The sum is related to your middle term. Okay, so looking at our sums here, sum of 10 and a middle term of negative 10, sum of 0, middle term of 0, sum of 6, middle term of, sorry, that should be negative 6, shouldn't it? Sum of negative 6, middle term of 6. And then over here, this one's a little tricky, but the sum is negative 17/4, and the middle term is positive 17, but this 4 plays a role as well. We'll talk about that. What about your product? So your product, again, looking at each of these, product is 9, your constant term is 9. Product is 29, your constant term is 29. Product is 7, your constant term is positive 7. I wrote that wrong, I apologize. So hopefully what we're seeing is this. You're seeing that the middle term is the opposite of the sum, and the last term is the product of the two numbers. So you can think about it this way, but here's the problem. You end up with something like this. It's not quite right. And that's because in order for this to work, you have to have a 1 as your coefficient for x squared. So if we divided everything here by 4, what you're going to get, divide all these terms by 4, you're going to get y over 4 equals x squared plus 17 over 4x minus 15/4. So you could write the equation. You know that this would be this would be a function that would have the same roots as the original function, because all we did was stretch it, which doesn't change the roots. So when you're writing these, it is easy to do this with any quadratic. So what I want you to do is go back to that very first page of this and see if you can write the equations for the roots that you were given in that table. Okay, so then try that and come back and we'll see how you did. All right, so here's the equations that you should have come up with based on what we had found earlier with the sums and the products. Hopefully you got those correct. Go ahead and try a few of these on your Google form, and I'll see you in the next video.